got dreams and you know they matter. Be your own boss, climb your own ladder. That moment's getting closer by the day. And you're in the same boat with a lot of your friends, launching ideas you all believe in. The tide's gonna turn and it's all gonna roll your way.
Welcome to Be My Own Boss podcast. My name is Mike Ruby. I'm your host. We'll raise a glass of water to our co-host Steve Johnson at Rideshare Rodeo. And Steve is always in the background helping us out. And this is our maiden solo voyage with video, audio if we're lucky, and maybe some interesting thoughts on being your own boss and how to make it even better and more secure. So our title today is Gig Driving Saving Lives? And I picked up this idea a couple of days ago, and I said, I gotta talk to the guys about this. I'd never thought of it. And one reason is really very simple. Been self-employed for myself for over 40 years. And it's most of the time, it's really easy to miss the importance of what you're doing for other people. You get the job, you try to do it, you try to keep the client happy, you try to keep your whoever colleagues you're working with, employees or sidekicks, whatever, try to keep everybody happy, keep the money coming in, keep the bills paid. You forget that you're doing this for someone who's going to use what you do in one way or another. This is a service business, and you're thinking about that at all times. So, and we've talked a lot about defending ourselves with the onslaught against independent contracting. But have you ever driven an intoxicated passenger home? My guess is you probably have if you're doing rideshare, maybe not for DoorDash. But the job really is just to get them home. You know, it's just a ride. You're providing it, they're using it, they'll pay the platform gets the money to you, job done, they go in the front door, they go upstairs in the elevator, whatever, then you've driven them home, job's over, right? Well, maybe there's another side to that. Maybe what you really did was save their life. You don't think about that very often, but there are a couple of key statistics that I think about a lot, and I have for many years. And the most important single one is that in this great, fantastic, gorgeous, affectionate country, there are 44,000 automobile deaths each year. Round numbers, it goes up, it goes down, but it doesn't go up by much. It doesn't go down by much. 44,000. That's 120 deaths due to driving or being hit by or being a pedestrian and hit by an automobile. And that's just absolutely frightful to me. I live near a big highway. I drive it a lot. There are a lot of trucks. Everybody's going 70. I'm going 70. You just got to keep everybody going 70 and straight and in their lane and no mistakes and, rain, snow. 120 a day. Now, 1/3 of the automobile fatalities are due to alcohol. Alcohol was involved in the accident. And that's not all of them, because many times alcohol is not reported, but it may have been present at some point and affected the driver's, what the driver did and what happened to the car. So 1/3 of 44,000, round numbers, is 13,500. And, that's a lot of Gillette stadiums or, whatever. It's an awful lot of people. And a couple things about every one of those 13,500 deaths. And that is, A, they were all involved with a car, either driving it or hit by one. They had a one. The second one is there was alcohol involved. And the third thing that it never brought up, they were not in a rideshare ride. They were not being transported. They were driving themselves, or the intoxicated individual was driving himself or herself. And that part is completely preventable. Even if they're drunk, even if they need a ride, we can solve that problem. Now, how big a problem is that? 13,000? I mean, we hear big numbers all the time. It doesn't make any difference in some ways. It doesn't make an impact. 13,000 deaths is the same as 100 crashes of a mostly full 737. That's terrible, you think. That's a lot. You remember those two smoking wrecks in the desert someplace, both of them Boeing 737s? Man, that really got people stoked. They were really thinking about it. This problem is 50 times bigger than that. It's a staggering problem. That you're just as dead whether you crash in a Boeing plane or, in a car or get hit by one. You're just as dead. 100 crashes. And those two crashes originally turned the Boeing company and the airlines and the government regulators and everything, turned them upside down. And this is 50 times bigger. And what if I told you that just recently I had come across some extremely good statistics on the fact that Uber, the research was on Uber, not Lyft, none of the others, shows a measurable decline when Uber is present in a what's called a statistical survey tract, census tract. You can actually reduce drunk driving deaths that's attributable to drunk driving, if Uber is present. So Lyft adds more to that. That's amazing. And it was I have the report here. I read it in absolute wonder. I mean, you don't want to read it. It's all Greek formulas and statistics. It's here. Anybody who wants to can DM me or Be My Own Boss podcast at gmail.com. Very interesting when you think about it. We can prevent alcohol-related automobile fatalities if people take Uber and Lyft and other rideshare and take that home, and if people tell each other to do it. Now, we know they're doing it because, according to these statistics, it turns out they measured it in 2021. They measured the annual result as a 1,720 person savings of lives. 1,700, but that's like 12% of the real problem. So I was thinking about that. I'm going, this is a giant market share opportunity for rideshare to expand to a market which is not making a fully rational choice, as they said in this in the paper. They're very skilled economic researchers, and they said that the choice to drunk drive is not a fully rational choice. And you gotta, if you've ever hoisted one, hey, no. So they need help. They need help in making that decision fully rational, and to take your ride or some other rideshare driver's ride and take it home, live. Go see your hubby or your wife and your kids and your grandparents and everybody. Don't get into an accident. It's preventable, and easily so too. You can solve it with a credit card, and you don't have to do anything. You're not going to get picked up. You just, Okay, so that's a big market expansion. Do we have enough people to cover it? I should say so. The population of Uber drivers is 7.8 million. There are 1.5 million Lyft drivers. This is anybody who drove recently for them. That's 9.3 million potential drivers. If that's 90% of the market, there figure 10 million drivers available for rideshare duty. We can do this. You can do it. It can be done. And nobody has to force anybody. We're not dragooning them. We're not preventing anything. We're not demanding, not requiring it. No. So I think that we, as independent contractors, self-employed, I think we should change the issue of rideshare driving away from everything that they're making out to be the case. They being the other people who want to coerce us all into unions, shrink the market. What the left wants to do is unionize all the drivers. And they're doing it in Massachusetts right now. They're working on that. They're going to unionize all the Uber and Lyft, just two firms. Unionize them. They want to charge them $1,000 a year in dues. Nationwide, that would be, after you shrink the market from 10 million to drivers down to 5 million or much less, that'll be $5 billion in the union's pockets for doing what? Making sure that fewer people use rideshare to get home after a party or after a little session drinking down at the bar. So I think we need to make, my offer to you is, let's answer the question. Say, is gig driving saving lives? The answer is yes. The research proves it, but the statistics show way too few lives. It should be a national sense of pride that this country, developed rideshare driving. 10 million people stepped up to do it. You could, without changing a thing except more intoxicated passengers getting in the back seat and getting a ride home, we could effectively end this storm of death that afflicts everything having to do with the automobile. Just take it right off. Anyway, that's my thought. If you guys have questions, love to hear them. If you have comments, put them in the chat. If you see this later, I would love to I'll entertain any questions you have. Love to get your suggestions. And let's see what we can do. We want to change the subject. We don't want the same old, same old. And there are 10 million of us. We can change it. There's 76 million independent contractors. My God, that's an enormous event. Okay. Seeing few, I will tell you. First, I'm going to click here. It's the bane of all podcasters is clicking. But I'm going to thank you for watching. I'm going to look forward to seeing you in the next episode. We think we might also do some unnumbered episodes on the side, just little quickies and insights. And I will see you at the latest next Tuesday at 2 o'clock Eastern. This is Mike Ruby telling you thanks for joining the Be My Own Boss podcast. Have a great day.
Well, you got dreams and you know they matter. Be your own boss, climb your own ladder. That moment's getting closer by the day. And you're in the same boat with a lot of your friends, launching ideas you all believe in. The tide's gonna turn and it's all